Greetings, beautiful beings. How's it going? Yeah, we gotta chat a minute. This is Revere Sky's essence. So I was holding conversation with a beautiful being, and they believe in the Yahweh, Yeshua thing wholeheartedly, right? Like, no matter what part of the world they're in, they always say, Yeshua got me here, right? And, I gave my example of Yeshua, Yahweh. I say, that's your Christ. That's the Christ within you. That's your light-bearing energy, right? Well, anyway, this person opened up a Pandora box. They asked me a question. Something to the point of, how do you feel we got here? Do you feel like we got here through evolution? You feel like we have a creator? Or through creation? Through creation would mean like all the elements, the planets, and everything were like created, right? Like almost like the Big Bang Theory, and then all of a sudden things start to materialize through the energy, right? The turbulence of ebb and flow, right? Well, anyway, I feel like to a certain degree, some of our genetics are thought forms. That's right, conscious thought forms. And I was explaining this to him, and he said that a lot of my information, I forget how he worded it, it's like useful and unuseful. So basically, if you don't understand something, it's always going to be not useful, right? So I explained to him that with the Bobby Hemmett theory is, if you're able to name your creator, if you're able to name your God, the energies within you may be at a higher rank than the God you're talking about. I know a lot of Jesus people and God people and, people out there, but I feel like Jesus is no different from the archangels. Jesus is no different from the Moses, Mother Mary, you know what I mean? Like, they're all like equal. Like, no different from Catholicism, Christianity, you name it. Like, certain countries didn't even have a Bible, right? And they had their gods and deities and stuff, right? Their idols. So, when it comes down to creation, the creator, I told him that I feel that we were designed through geneticism. And the people who tampered with the DNA of the basic structure of us and added DNA encoding from their space and time within us, they never used a blank slate. They always used something that was already here. So they're not the primordial creator. They are a co-creator. That'd be like me taking a baby or a fetus and giving it blue eyes, blonde hair, Anunnaki gene lines, Sumerian gene lines, reptilian and alligator genes. I'm not a creator. I didn't create anything from scratch. That's a co-creator. When Jesus came to this planet, it was already here. When Christ's energy And I think through energy form and thought process, okay? If I say, okay, if you physically say a man was here, boom. When he got here, the planet and the people were already here. So how is that your God? How is that your creator? So, through consciousness, through Christ consciousness, through Christ frequency, through Kundalini energy, that frequency, that force resides within this vessel. And it actually inherited this vessel as it was coming to fruition, as it was being manifested, as it was growing in the womb. You know, when you are born through the canal, through the sea, there's a lot of things that come into your body, a lot of different frequencies, a lot of different forces that come into your body as soon as you take your first breath. The brethren, the Christ conscious, the Holy Spirit, all of that stuff, all of those frequencies, the Kundalini energy that they don't want you to tap into, all comes into the body as soon as you take that first breath. Soul ties, soul tethering, spirit tethering, that outer body experience layer, I forget the name right now, it's not coming to me. But yeah, that part of your body. So every dimension of your body comes into fruition as soon as you take that first breath. Okay? So back to this co-creator and creation. Bobby Hemmett said it clearly. If you're able to name or identify a God, you may not be lesser than them, because true creation, true thought forms do not allow you to know their actual name. You could name it as many things as you want, but you'll never be able to actually, like, you can conjure up and manifest essence of it, but you will never be able to wholeheartedly identify it. Its spiritual name. Like, even the watchers over us don't know all of our spiritual names, don't know all of our essential names, the name that cannot be pronounced within this language, cannot be thought within this realm, because we're higher beings. Okay? We've been just dumbed down, diluted, and poisoned so long that we think everything is above us, which it is, because through thought form, our thoughts are not manifesting as fast as they should. Okay? So, when Jesus showed up to the planet, it was already here. When the Christ conscious, that energy, that Christ energy, that healing, empowering energy that flows within mostly all of us, especially indigenous people, it was already here. Okay? Now, whether somebody risked their vibratory state, because if you have Yeshua or Yahweh come down to this realm, they're risking their vibratory rate to come down here and be exposed to the bull crap. Now, back in the day, they didn't have to worry about cell phone towers and radiation and frequencies like that, right? But now they have to worry about that. So if they come down here, dematerialize to materialize in our realm, they might get trapped. It's like, it's a bunch of bad frequencies here. Okay? So you don't want to get trapped. So you might not even show up no more, right? But when it comes down to our life force energy, our Christ conscious, that would always be with us. But we can't wholeheartedly harness it, utilize it as a tool, because we're being polluted by the air, the water, the frequency, the radiation, and all of that, allegedly, right? So back to it. I feel like we're always going through evolution. Whatever the planet's going through, we're going through it. Whatever the cosmos is going through, we're going through it. Whether we're actually getting that information, I don't know, because like I say, we're being bombarded by frequencies, poisons, pollutants that are disturbing and disrupting our endocrine system, our lymphatic system, our whole functioning of ebb and flow is being altered every day. Okay, so whether we're able to tap into that evolution, it may not be 100%. It could be between 10 and 20%. Okay? When it comes down to creation, even the ones that manipulated our DNA so that we could be slaves to mine the planet, right? They're just co-creators. They did not create us from scratch. They didn't create the mud. They didn't create the water. They didn't create the electricity. They didn't create the genes. Hell, they didn't even create the genes and the God energies and the God DNA from their planet, from their realm. Okay? So for them to take the essence of them and bring it to this world and mold and shape genetically with what was already on this planet, think about it. You're just a co-creator. That's like this is just an example. I take Mercury from the planet Mercury, right? And I take some type of red ash from Venus, right? And then I bring it back to Earth, and I make an animal, I make a bird, and with that bird, I use the mercury and I use the red ash, and I create a new type of species, right? That's only co-creation. That's not a God or being creating from thought, okay? There's entities out there that can create from thoughts. Meaning right now, if for some reason we interfere with their livelihood and their evolution and their peace of mind, they can just say erase planet Earth and it will be gone, okay? From thought. Again, this is why the Russians, allegedly, when they was traveling in the air and they seen spaceships go from point A to point B, meaning the spaceship right in front of them, and then it disappears and it jumps behind them. Then it disappears, jump below them. They knew then that these spaceships were not using mechanical DNA, like not DNA, mechanical functions. They were using Thoughtform. So when you realize that there are entities out there that can use Thoughtform, and there's entities out there that you have to use physical geneticism, right? Just like the people who seeded this planet with fruits, vegetables, sea creatures, land creatures. They had to take the matter and the principles and the elements of this realm to start manifesting. That's still part of co-creation. It's a higher level of co-creation. Let me see a scientist take mud and water and electricity and start forming a human. So you got the elemental co-creator who can take the elements and just manifest breath, life, heart, beat, and blood, right? And then you have the co-creator of that's very sophisticated, high and bred alien type, and can take their geneticism and tweak this geneticism to still bring out a level of pureness without it being acidic to nature, right? And then you have the new age pharmacies and scientists and geneticists that create that everything that they create or tamper with is just acidic to nature. It does not help nature at all. So, yes, you have higher level geneticists that are considered aliens that can tamper with what was here at first and still give the planet a high vibratory, stable aftermath, right? And then you have these new geneticists from today in time. Everything they create or manipulate is acidic to nature, period. All this is allegedly. So, when it comes to it, I believe in our evolution. I believe no matter what we are, however we was genetically modified, we have to evolve. Whether that have a time limit or we can evolve to be more. Do I feel like we was created through source 100% wholeheartedly? No. I really do feel like there was some genetic modification going on. Do I feel like we still have strings of source energy in us? I do. For you to live, breathe, and function, you have to have levels of elemental force within you. Now, when it comes down to robots and android, human-like beings that have the skin, but they don't have the breath, that's one anomaly that you want to be blessed with for experience, right? You want to be able to experience and feel, right? If you don't have the breath, you're not us. An animal that breathes has more value than something that doesn't breathe. Trees breathe. So, like when you see computers and they have fans on them, it has to breathe, right? The cell phone ain't got to breathe for some reason. But things have to breathe. That's how you tap into source energy. That is a tethered energy that's with you. And when you lose it, you're no more, right? So, we opened up this Pandora box, and he asked me, he said, so you're mean to tell me that you feel that Yeshua is not the all and be all? I said, not really, no. Because when he showed up, this planet was already here and the people were already here. The geneticism was already happening. Our source I did not materialize through Thoughtform. That's God. Materializing through thought. I came through a byproduct of my mother and my father. I am a byproduct of my mother and my father. And in that process, I tethered onto source energy, source frequency, source brethren, source electricity, source this, source that, to be able to be mobile, right? To be mobile, to function. But that's all through geneticism. That's just like the vast cosmos. And the vast cosmos decide to take all these energies and unknown elements and materialize within our realm. That's what you call a God form. No devices, no technology, just through thought, rhythm, and vibration. Thought, frequency, rhythm, and vibration. That's a God form. Now you have these co-creator God forms that can still maneuver by thought and materialize into human being or entity, whatever. They can do it, but they're co-creators. But I'm going to hit you to something. If they were gods, they wouldn't have to come to this planet and steal our resources to save their planet. If they were gods, they would never have to mine this planet of its resources. They could go create their own, right? Thank you. I've spoken. The same way Nibiru, Planet X, is stealing our gold to spray into their atmosphere to protect it from the sun, right? Why we couldn't use our own gold to spray in our atmosphere to protect us from our sun? Say it again, Revere Sky. Why we couldn't use our own gold to spray into our atmosphere to protect us from our sun? See, they are higher beings than us. More knowledge is more power, right? So Planet X and Nibiru, they want the good stuff. So they came to get our gold to spray into their atmosphere to protect them from their sun, right? But on this planet, they want to spray borium, aluminum, nanoplastics, nanometals to block out the sun, to disrupt the function of nature, to slowly manipulate our respiratory, just so that they can have solar power in space. And I'm not talking about like way out there in the Milky Way. I mean like wherever they're spraying that stuff, they want the sun to reflect the opposite direction at least 2 or 3 miles. So they're spraying that spray everywhere. They're like knocking out 4 or 5 stones at one time. You know how they say kill 2 birds with 1 stone? Okay. They're knocking out 4 or 5 stones at one time. They're making it so that we can't grow God foods, alkaline, nutrition-based foods. The soil is alkaline, which is bad. Most soils are supposed to be acidic. The aluminum is making the soil alkaline. Not good, okay? Most fruits and vegetables like acidic base soil. Then the pollution of the water, the nanoparticles embedded in us, then the cell phone towers and the frequencies, to the point you have no privacy. Every thought you think of, is being marketed to sell you something, to keep a whole diary on you. They're keeping a whole diary on your thoughts. Okay? You can hit your elbow and your thoughts could be saying, ouch, 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 my elbow hurt. And they're just going to start popping up with chiropractors and therapists as advertisement, as your new video feed. Okay? You could be constipated and bloated, and they're going to have advertisement selling you products, bringing up different types of stuff. You could be in an accident, and all of a sudden they start posting ads about lawyers and wrecks and car crashes and settlements. Listen, we have no privacy. And as long as you continue to use these smart devices and these cell phones and these cell phone towers, you are agreeing to them compromising every transmission and feedback that comes to your body. That's right. So, we're dealing with a bunch of advanced co-creators. Because if they could create from thought form, like God or like source energy, they would create their own gold. They wouldn't have to come to another planet and steal their gold. They would be able to create their own planet. So what level is your God? Because I know what level my source energy is. Okay? I know how far I can tap into. I cannot name my God. I can name deities. I could conjure up frequencies. I could conjure up vibrations. I could conjure up Mother Mary, Guadalupe, Yeshua, Obatala, Ogun. You get what I'm saying? I can conjure up these frequencies, these energies. That's why you pay tithes. That's why you drink and eat. That's why you have altars and candles, just like church. That's why you burn incense. That's why you conjure up demons and angels and demons and jinns and deities. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of them have the right to materialize and some of them don't have the right to materialize. Some of them have to use empty cedars and empty vessels. But really, have a little thought about what's co-creation, what's a real creator, what manifests through thought form, what manifests just through the ebb and flow of frequency, vibration, and rhythm. What can come about that with the elements? So that we have it, I am one with the universe, I am one with creation. I am one with the universe, I am one with nature. Unearth the magic, the truth will definitely set you free.